Hey guys, Cameron here with Emerson Property Management. Every week I bring you tools, tactics, strategies, lessons I've learned, things that have helped me build up a sizable portfolio in about 2 years and now manage that portfolio. Today, guys, I want to talk about property inspection. So we've talked a lot about this in reels and other little small things, but I want to go deep into the philosophy behind inspections, why you do inspections, and then some timing. Specifically, I really want to focus on the timing and some things that we've recently changed. So, do you even do property inspections? That's the first thing. And then if you do them, at what frequency do you do them? Or what should you do them? I'll go through kind of all that, why, blah, blah, blah. First, before I get into that, if you guys like this or you find this video useful, like, subscribe, share it with somebody. It really helps us out. Okay, let's get right into the nitty gritty. So, why do you do property inspections? I always say the 3 Ps: people, problems, pets. People. Are there people there that shouldn't be there? Or is the house, is there 25 people living in the home? Problems, water, specifically around water, or maybe, the house is just egregiously filthy. And then pets. Do they, we've had people who breed dogs, who have multiple dogs in the backyard or God knows where, and there's holes all over the place, scratches all over the door, cages all over the place, who God only knows. We've had all sorts of different scenarios. So those are kind of the 3 things that we always look for during property inspections. 3 Ps: people, problems, pets. And it just lets the tenants know, hey, somebody's coming in to check. Somebody's going to come in the property. So kind of tidy up a little bit. Sometimes that's the only time they ever clean up the property. Not all tenants, but they want to kind of put on their best, or most folks do. And we're not really looking to go in and you see a little nick on the wall. Oh, I'm going to touch that up. We need to do this. We need to clean this. We'll make notes of any of those cosmetic things. I'm not going to dispatch somebody and pay them $100 just to get out there to fix, a nick in the drywall. However, if we notice a leak on the ceiling, or maybe the condenser unit is totally filthy, or the filter isn't changed, then that's something that you'll want to nip in the bud quickly. So that's the philosophy behind it. It lets the tenants know that you're coming. And then they tidy up the property a little bit, which is great. And if they don't, when you've planned this inspection out, then they know if it's filthy when you go, that the property either looks like that all the time, or maybe that's clean to them. So make notes of this. These are things that you can come back with. Usually on the inspection, I'll mention a couple things about, we're looking for cleanliness, we're looking for this and that, and follow up with them after the inspection to make sure that, hey, here's the pictures, here's the photographic evidence of what we found, to make sure that we're not just talking out of our rear end. We need this corrected in so many days. You submit the pictures and you go from there. If it's small stuff, again, you kind of let it slide. But if it's something that's going to damage the property or health and safety of the tenant, then 100% need to get it nipped in the bud quick. So having said that, what is the right amount of frequency? So I can tell you there's different philosophies. Now, I put this fancy chart together. So property inspections. This is month 0. So this is basically the day the tenant moves in. Month 3, 6, 9, and then we mostly sign 12-month leases, right? Most folks sign 12-month leases. Little sidebar there. If you're not signing 12-month leases and you're signing 24-month leases, I do not recommend that on the first time you get a tenant. The reason that being, if the tenant sucks, and I mean that in all sincerity, but if the tenant is not working out, they're damaging the property, do you really want to be stuck with them for 24 months or 12 months? After the 12 months, offer them a 2-year renewal if they want to do that. That's fine, but I would never do a 2-year initial lease with somebody until you had that relationship with them. Now, maybe month 6 comes in, they're fantastic, then you could do something. There's all other different ways you can handle it, but we never sign a 2-year lease to start, and that's the reason. If the tenants are not great, you don't want to be with in a 2-year relationship. You'd rather sever it at 1. Also, rents have been going up so quickly that, now, obviously things are changing, but rents have been going up so quickly that you want to make a rent increase at 12 months. You don't want to wait 2 years to make a rent increase and only get an extra 50 or $100 when you might be able to get 50, $100 at 12 months, another 50 or $100 at 24 months. So those are kind of the main reasons. Now, What's y'all's philosophy on this? I'm going to put old. This is our old philosophy. I'm going to show you this with an X. We used to do one inspection every 6 months. So we would do it really, I guess, technically there and there. So we would do one at the 6 month mark and at the 12 month mark. Now, what we found out was, okay, they can damage the property pretty substantially in 6 months if they're bad. I mean, there's not much you can do about that. If there's no maintenance request or anything and you don't see it, 6 months can go by, people can really tear stuff up. So we like to do it at 6 months. And then we said, okay, then we're gonna offer the renewal about 9 months. If they don't renew, we're not gonna do the 12-month inspection. If they do renew, then we'll do the 12-month. That was very difficult because you would do this inspection here and then you're talking about maybe a 9-month mark. Things can change a lot in 3 months. Again, you don't know conditions, people, move out, move in, all sorts of things come up. And then we hardly ever got to this 12-month inspection because if they renewed, we'd get to it. But if not, we would never get to it. It would just be basically a 6 month in the middle of the lease. So that's one philosophy. Some people like that. This is very common. We got away from it. It didn't make sense for us to do because when we were going to offer the renewal, which we start really at month 9, we start at month 8, like 120 days, but we'd like to have that inspection done at month 9. So when we offer the renewal at month 12 or for month 12, we have a pretty darn good indication of what the property looked like throughout those 9 months. And this is an owner expense, right? So $150, thereabouts, $150. So really every year you're paying $300 for these as an owner. If you're doing them yourself, you can do them. You could do one every month if you wanted to, but this was getting to be a little much. So the next thing we did was we decided, well, since we're not really getting a good lease or a good indication of what the property looks like right before the renewal, why don't we do a 3-month inspection and then a 9-month inspection? That way, they get in the property, the residents get settled, we can check on them immediately. 3 months, we kind of catch anything before it becomes too bad. We see everybody, they're settled. Sometimes a tenant might take a month or more to move in. Their leases overlap, they want to take time, or they're moving from out of state. They didn't want to let the property go, so they're really settled in at the 3-month mark. And then we do the 9-month inspection before we offer the renewal. So this was a pretty good schedule. However, again, you're talking about 2 inspections every year. So you're talking, and you were doing these whether the tenant renewed or not. So in this one, if the tenant didn't renew, you would not do your 12-month. You would only have 1 inspection. But this one, you're doing one at 3 months and you're always doing one at 9 months. Based on that 9-month inspection, you're offering the renewal or not. So this, again, was creating an expense for the owners of 2 inspections a year. Now, this was good to catch stuff in the beginning and the end, but again, we're doing 2 inspections every year. If you saw what they were doing in month 9, this we thought was going to catch a lot. It really didn't. This was the inspection that really determined how they had treated the property. So by the 3-month mark, it was really hard to tell if they had destroyed the property or not. It had maybe degraded a little bit, but hey, it's messy. I'm out of town this weekend, whatever. This was the true inspection to tell whether they were filthy or not. Whether the 9 months of not taking care of the property. And I say not taking care of the property. Some of it's just dirty, like cleanliness stuff. And you're in there a month, 2 months ish, or 3 months. It's kind of hard to tell. Things get a little dirty, a little messy, but it's not bad. This is the true inspection that determined that. So we were using our renewal decision based off this inspection. Now, again, this was creating 2 inspections a year. Tenants didn't really like that. Obviously, there are companies that do one every quarter. So they would do a 3, 6, 9-month inspection, and if you renewed, a 12-month inspection. That is very expensive for owners. So unless that company pays for it, maybe they have a super high management fee that covers those property inspections. But normally an owner is going to pay for property inspection. So if you're doing this yourself and you don't mind doing these, this is a decent schedule. It does aggravate the tenants a little bit. We didn't really see much results from this month 3. We saw a lot more results from the month 9. So we changed, 1, from feedback from the owners, and 2, because of what we realized was happening in those inspections. And we just went to 1 inspection. That was an X with the circle. 1 inspection at month 9. And what that did is it eliminated this 3-month. So again, this was not, we thought this was going to tell us quite a bit when they got in the property. It was more kind of an aggravation than anything. And then we're doing it again at 9 months. This was the big one, like I mentioned. So we said, okay, hey, owners, we're going to save you the expense. We're just going to do one property inspection every year at the 9-month mark, right before we offer the renewal. So this is truly an indication of how they've treated the property for 9 months. Now, if you're an owner, if I'm an owner, I am an owner of Emerson Property Management, I'm a client, I would say the more inspections, the better. That's not necessarily true. These take time. They take a relationship with the tenant to have, and they can damage a relationship with the tenant. A tenant's paying for a lease. You don't want to go in there any more than you really have to. But if you're thinking, Cameron, I'm only going to get in there once a year, that's not sufficient for me. I can tell you that we average per property about 2 to 3 maintenance requests a year. So normally between month 0 and month 9, there is some sort of maintenance request that comes up, and we get into the property then to handle that, whether it's a leak on a valve, whether it's a garbage disposal, whether it's, electrical outlet, something like that. We get in there and check it out. And when we go, if it's in total disarray, we make a note of that and we'll send them a violation. So we might not do a full-blown property inspection once a year, but your odds are you're getting in to do something, whether it's HVAC related, whether it's just do a quick property, cleanliness piece. And what do I mean by that? Some people deliver filters. Some people take filters to the tenants and tell them to change. The odds are you're going to have some sort of preventative maintenance thing that comes up between month 0 and month 9. So this is our new process. 1 inspection at the 9-month mark. And again, I might report back on this in 2 years and say, this sucks, we're going to go to a different thing. But I can tell you that as of now, we've had pretty good luck with this. It's a simpler process. It saves the owners money. It's easier on the tenants, and it's a really good indication of what's going on in the property right before we offer renewal for another year. So if you guys are doing inspections, if you're doing them yourself, you could walk it every month. Again, I think you're going to be careful with how much you're damaging or could damage a resident relationship. You obviously want to reduce risk. That's another big piece of doing property inspections, is reduce risk of, property damage and a resident issue. But this has been one that we have settled on that is simple. It catches everything. And one other thing I forgot to mention, usually around month 1, 2 weeks to 4 weeks from the time the resident moved in, they might catch something, right? They might say, Cameron, this outlet is broken. There's caulking that's not on properly. The dishwasher doesn't work, whatever it is. And I'll say, listen, we're not going to do any maintenance requests unless they're life, health, and safety related for 2 weeks. So get in the property, 2 weeks, check everything out, and then we'll come and handle all the issues at one time. So that allowed us to get in the property again, let them get settled, see how it is, if they're going to treat the property like crap. So you really get in there about that 1 month mark. And again, some tenants don't move in for a month or maybe 2 or 3 weeks. So that would go between maybe a month and 2 months. So right around average, right around that month to 6 week mark is when we get in the property to check and go through any of those issues they noted on their move-in condition form. So you're really not getting in, again, I know it's like, oh my God, I'm getting in there only once a year, but you're really getting in sometime in here, and at some point throughout this, you're gonna get a maintenance request. If you don't, you need to go over the property. Just say you have to do something, I gotta check, service the HVAC unit or something and get in, because the odds are you will get some sort of maintenance requests. 2 to 3 a year you're gonna get. I've had brand new properties, rehab $40,000, $50,000, you still get maintenance requests, things still come up. So I hope that was helpful. If it was, let me know. If it wasn't, let me know. This is our process now at the, early 2023. This could change, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys use something different, I'd love to hear it. Thanks, y'all.